I recently read an article on Substack titled How Human Design Fucked Up My Life. Excuse my language. She talked about how she was coerced into a high control human design group based on the way they were talking about you can only really follow Ra's words. And what it did was a slow dismantling of people's own inner authority to follow the word of Ra. So you can see this happens with every religion. Things turn into dogma, there becomes high control, there's a group tribal dynamic, and people get swept up in it. This causes a lot of pain. This is how a lot of cults are formed. Hence, the next someone comes out with a book about the human design cults, we realize that a lot of groups in human design that aren't living in integrity. Being that my background comes from spiritual psychology, I spent a lot of years working on my own inner stuff, healing for healthy relationships. Don't get me wrong, I do make mistakes. I have a lot of times when I say the wrong thing, I hurt people's feelings, they hurt my feelings, things blow up, it happens, but my intentions are high. I want to point something out in the human design communities. I feel that there's no mistake these types of disagreements are happening. I don't think it's just human error. I think it is a problem in the knowledge itself, and I'm going to explain. There's one more example as well in the human design communities. I was kicked out of Jovian, so were many people. Now it has less of an impact, but back when I got my certification 8 years ago, whenever it was, it meant a lot to have a Jovian certification. And then they teach you to follow your inner authority and to live this stuff. But if you don't follow what they want and what they are telling you to do, then you cannot keep your certification. So that's what happened to me and a lot of other people that are teaching human design, because it became a business for a lot of people. And following your inner authority in business is really, really important. You have to follow invitations, you have to follow the strategy. And if you don't, your business doesn't work. And when you're talking about your financial base for your family, I support my family, my life by my business. So you really can't tell people what to do in a system that's designed for personal sovereignty. So a lot of people got kicked out of Jovian. To me, they're losing their status as well as their integrity as teachers of human design. But what this video is about today is where I think the knowledge itself is missing something key in order for us as a human design community, or those who love human design, because communities are falling apart. So really there's fractals, based on what your interests are. Most people who do my courses and my classes, they are spiritual as well. They know and have had mystical experiences, or they've had different awakenings, telepathic experiences, they can feel things, they have crazy dreams. So I really merge the spiritual and the human design. So I'm going to take you through the journey of what's missing in human design, why there's so much pain, drama, why we see betrayals, why we see people getting kicked out of groups, why we see cults starting. I'm going to show you the answer today. So let's talk about what is involved in human design. First, we have the chakra system, which is understanding the energy centers within the body. So if you know human design, you know there's 9 centers. In 1781, we evolved from the 7-centered being into the 9-centered being. Then we have astrology, which is the planetary influence and the alignment at the moment of birth. Then we have the ancient Chinese system, the wisdom for understanding life, the I Ching. If you've never read this, I highly recommend going back and understanding the I Ching, which is what the Gene Keys is all based on, the I Ching. This is the book of change. It shows us why all synchronicities are understood through this ancient mystical teaching that has baffled scholars for thousands of years. And there's also a lot of books on the I Ching in alignment with the DNA. So we're really reading the DNA coding of humanity. And it is really fascinating. Then we also have the Kabbalah, which is the mystical tree of life, and it maps out the soul's journey. We also have the neutrino science, the impact of the subatomic particles passing through our bodies, and quantum physics, which is the deeper nature of reality, how we have quantum alignment based on how we live our design. And when we live according to our strategy and our inner authority, we have a quantum leap in our life based on our truth and our uniqueness. If you'll notice, all of these studies and wisdoms, all of them are talked about in human design except for one. People mention the Kabbalah, but no one really understands it. No one really embodies the Kabbalah at all. But recently it's been brought to my attention that this is the missing piece in the human design information. This is the piece that leads us for years and years and years on the human design journey, still having confusion, spiritual crisis, misunderstandings in relationships, financial struggles, health issues. If you look at the leaders in human design, including Rahu himself, Randy, John Martin, all of these people had different types of dramas and health issues that were unresolved. And when you study the Kabbalah and you really understand the spiritual teachings of this knowledge, it transforms your understanding of life and the journey that we're on. And I believe this is what is missing from the knowledge itself. And yet it is embodied into human design. This is where all the channels come from. The channels come from the Kabbalah. So what I would love to do is take you on a journey through the Kabbalah. I want to take you through the mysticism and show you some of the depth that is included in human design, but is not ever mentioned. The reason we want to embody the Kabbalah is that it shows us how to have deeper relationships, how to heal. It shows us how to awaken out of financial crisis. It shows us how to live a full life in beloved soulmate love. I am lucky to live and be with my soulmate, who's my husband and business partner. But much of our relationship and healing and deep connection comes from master's degree in spiritual psychology. It doesn't, although we both love human design and that has really helped and we have a shared language, the deeper therapy that has to go on with any relationship, if you want to heal and have deep intimacy, it really, really helps to have spiritual language and therapeutic teachings. So the Kabbalah brings all of this to the forefront. And the interesting thing is the aha moments I've had when I have started to dig in to the Kabbalah. I always thought it was just missing from human design altogether. But the truth is that spirituality and spiritual understanding and healing and mysticism is embedded in human design. We just haven't uncovered it yet as a community. So I hope you find this as intriguing as I do, because I am about to uncover some of the deepest mysticism behind human design that has been untouched. So are you ready for the mystical adventure into the Kabbalah? So the Kabbalah is the tree of life. It's mirrored in the body graph, representing the energetic pathways through the conscious flows. So what I like to consider in the human design rave chart is that the Kabbalah is seen in the channels, the I Ching is seen in the gates. And for all of us who have felt and know our channels, we know they have a bigger impact on us than each of the hanging gates. We know that once we have a channel, we have the entire energy of the two centers working together. We know that when we have, for example, this 360, we have an individualized channel moving from the root to the sacral. It impacts the entire chart. This is the channel of mutation. It has a huge impact on the person. So there is power and impact in the channel. So let's get into the mystical adventure of the Kabbalah in alignment with human design. So you'll notice that the Siferet is what are the circles here in the tree of life in the Kabbalah, and those line up with the energy centers. Now, they're not exact, there are 10, but what we feel the difference is the 9 energy centers. And then when you look at human design, we're also including the journey of the passenger, and the 10th Sephirot is really about that journey of the light in the human body. So the pathways, which is the journey through the Sephirot, is what I see, the channels. And then we have the divine light with it, which is the light, the life force, and the soul journey, which is the incarnation cross. I think right here, when we're talking about the life force in human design, we consider this the passenger consciousness. So if you know about human design, you know that the vehicle intelligence is really what we want the inner authority to be. The magnetic monopole is the driver. We have the vehicle consciousness, and then we have the passenger, which is the witness. But what we're really missing is the divine light. Now, the divine light is the energy that comes through the vehicle that helps us with things like disagreements, betrayals, arguments, financial struggles, because we look at this energy from a new perspective. And this is what I've been speaking on for years, that I feel human design is missing: how to deal with traumas, how to deal with uncomfortable situations. There are no tools. However, in the Kabbalah, there are tools, and they're life-changing tools. When you look at the human design, we have the I Ching, which gives us the genetic code. There are many, many books written on this, the DNA and the coding with the I Ching. We have the astrology that gives us the cosmic timing. And the chakra system shows us how energy is processed. We have the defined and undefined. Nothing in any spiritual teachings helps us understand the chakra system the way we look at it in human design. Of course, we have the types, the projectors, and the strategy. Again, no other spiritual system works in human design like that. But the Kabbalah shows us how the divine moves through a human life. So this specifically is dealing with when there is a painful situation. So let me give you some foundational pieces about the Kabbalah, and then I will put it in practical terms. The Kabbalah is bringing the light into the life. The foundation of the Kabbalah is that it teaches us that the universe is made of 2 forces: the light, source of consciousness, love, wisdom, and creative energy, and the vessel, the human being who receives and expresses the light. So the Kabbalah is a spiritual technology that precedes every religion, and it's the spiritual growth. So we can look at our reactive patterns. We can release negativity, resentment, and lack. We can expand our capacity to receive and express the light. Again, this is what I could not put my finger on in human design and in the communities that I felt was missing, but this is it. The practice is bringing the light into the body, and it means asking, where am I reacting from fear? Now, I put or ego, but really the terminology of ego is confusing on human design because we have one of the centers in human design called the ego. Now, in the Kabbalah, what it's talking about is the place where negativity is shown in our life. And so I'm going to really use more the term fear and negativity, talk about it in relationship to situations that human design has no answer to. So how can I respond from compassion, generosity, and awareness instead? So spiritual awakening is not escaping the human experience, it's allowing more light to move through it. What we can see is the nature of the light and why we do not always experience it. So what the Kabbalah is teaching us is how we react, and when we're facing situations that cause us pain. And this is pain of any nature. This is when we're having a painful divorce, or when we're having a painful reaction to getting a bad prognosis, or perhaps we're having financial crisis. All of these things would be considered the depth of our struggle. Now, when there is a breakup, when someone's having a fight, when we're having uncomfortable situations, there is no tool in human design except for to decondition, to live your strategy and your inner authority. And sometimes you need more than that. We are complex beings. People have had illnesses, they have had breakups, divorces, and some people move through it very gracefully, but the tools provided in human design, I don't believe are enough to help us in the face of the depths of struggle that humans go through. So I want to talk about this in terms of difficult situations. In the Kabbalah, when you face pain and you face darkness, you have a situation, so you want to acknowledge the pain, but you also want to allow yourself to transcend by how you hold the darkness. So you want to allow the light to guide you. And this becomes a sacred and powerful moment where you move into a place of certainty that everything that is happening to you is coming from your soul to awaken greater knowledge. The soul is bringing the experience. And when you see it with certainty that all things are good, all things are here for your transformation, you can open the door to allowing light into the expansion of the pain. And when you can open to seeing the gift and the divine opportunity, then whatever pain you're going through becomes a sacred moment of transformation, because it's opening you to a new evolutionary stage within you where you become more light. You become a higher vessel for a new reality based in an expression of light. So you would not be going through something painful unless you had within you the ability to transcend. According to the Kabbalah, the nature of the light is unlimited, it's generous, it's always flowing, it's always seeking to give. The source does not withhold. The light is always present in our lives. So what the Kabbalah is saying is if you are up against lack, it is your belief system blocking. If you are up against a health issue, it is something you are blocking the flow of the light, of the health. If it is a relationship situation, you're shutting your heart to the potential of love and healing. So what blocks the light is not the universe, it's the vessel, meaning it's us. We block it with fear, with resentment, with scarcity, with negative beliefs, and with closing our heart after pain. And so if you can take on the path of the Kabbalah and you take on the experience of light, then you transform your vessel to be able to hold higher and higher experiences of the infinite expansion. And this is what you do in practice when you are experiencing pain, loss, or financial crisis. So what I'd like to do is take you through an experience so you can actually feel this. So if you're up for an experience of bringing in the Kabbalah into your life in this moment, just let me know in the chat if you're open and ready for an experience of transformation, the light of the Kabbalah to come through your life. And the way to do this is to ask yourself right now if you've been experiencing any pain. This could be pain in a financial crisis, in relationship. It's best when we think of something that's happening to us right now. Maybe you're in a breakup, maybe you have physical pain. So we're going to, for this example, we're going to use financial crisis. Or this could also be any place where you're not making enough money in your business. Maybe you've been trying to get yourself to an unlimited state or financial freedom, or maybe you want to change careers and you want to do something more that you love and you want to expand. And you're thinking to yourself, why is this happening to me? Maybe you just had an investment that didn't do well and you're wondering, this is unfair. I'll never be safe. I can't believe I have so much, they have so much and I'm struggling. I need to get control right now. I feel like a failure. The mind tends to, without even us knowing or even thinking about it subconsciously, we have a reaction to a negative crisis in finances, usually with these types of thoughts. Also, you might have the thought that I need to work really hard in order to make money. I need to hustle. I need to grind. I need to really hurt myself, working double, working triple in order to make money. That is another belief system that would keep us from expanding to the next level of evolution and abundance, because we wouldn't want to take on more work if we're already burned out, especially for us projectors. So, asking yourself to become more light is knowing and allowing and accepting and moving yourself in the state of clarity that everything is happening for your soul to expand, and trusting that what is happening to you is an evolutionary shift for your soul. And for whatever reason, your soul has chosen this experience for you to grow. And it will keep repeating until you get the deep transformation. Doesn't matter if you go to a financial advisor. It doesn't matter if you buy an investment. It doesn't matter if you spend $10,000 on a life coach. If you don't go within to the light, according to the Kabbalah, then you will never heal. You might have some shifts, things might change, but it'll happen again and again. If you've seen this moving through families or lineages, people maybe come out of it for a little while, but they experience it over and over again in different cycles. Because if you don't get the deep internal shift, it will repeat itself. So right here, we're going deep into the internal shift. So I want you to feel whatever pain that you might be having in your life and take a minute to really feel it. Take a breath in. And now I want you to just allow this to be the greatest gift that you could possibly have, the greatest opportunity for healing. I want you to answer these questions. How is this designed for your spiritual awakening? Where is the lesson in this challenge? How can you respond with trust right now rather than fear? What can I share even in the midst of this? Sharing your heart, sharing your joy. What can you give? Even $1 to the homeless, like put yourself in the space of abundance. What possibilities am I not seeing yet? Are you willing to transform this situation and bring in more light into the vessel, and know that you are creating the block, that the financial abundance is around you, it's everywhere, but the block is coming from you. The divine is wanting to give you. So can you feel that? Can you bring light into the challenges and start seeing that every experience is for your evolution? So this is the first journey through the Kabbalah that I will be bringing forward. We're going to go deeper and deeper and use this as a space of transformation and healing, growth, and taking human design to the next level. So let me know if you felt a shift, if you felt a spiritual energy moving through any type of pain that you might be experiencing. Let me know what your pain is. Put it in the comments below. And if this was insightful for you, I would love for you to subscribe to our channel. Let me know what your journey is through your human design and through your spiritual path. And stay tuned for more videos on the Kabbalah. I'm going to be doing a whole series on it, going very deep in this integration process.